What if you could see blindfolded? How would your life completely change? In this episode of Project Beyond, I'm interviewing Ryan Desbien, the 2025 Psi Games Champion. He's going to share how to see blindfolded, how to move a Psi wheel, and a few other amazing psychic feats. Not only is he going to share the hows, but he's going to demonstrate his amazing psychic abilities. So, welcome. My name is Emma, and this is Project Beyond.
How are you?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Good, excellent. Great to catch up again. I'm super excited for this.
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna tone my energy down just a bit, and then we'll condense it all. And I have something new that I was gonna do with you last time, and we just got into all the other stuff. And
Okay.
I want to show you something that I don't think anybody's ever done before, and it's not adrenaline, and it's not jumping motorcycles. It's something I can do right here. But just
Okay.
as like a further demonstration, right? Just to show something new that's I don't think anyone's ever done before. So
Excellent.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready to jump in, and I'm gonna once again I'm known to ramble, so I'm gonna try to condense it.
No, this sounds perfect. Absolutely. Well, go ahead then. Just let's jump right into it because
Absolutely.
there's
So
so, I
I
mean,
just
last
want to give
time
a
we
little
talked, it was,
precursor.
pardon?
Yeah, I was gonna say I just want to give it a little bit of a precursor that we did this before, but I went on for a long time, and we just did so much amazing stuff though. But I do think it would probably be hard to jam that much into something smaller. So my
Right.
name is Ryan Desbien. I am one of the participants in the 2026 PSI games, as well as the previous champion of the 2025 International PSI games. There were 5 games. I podiumed in 3. I actually won psychokinesis. I got second in precognition and second in mindsight. I actually tested, and I'll get into all this, but I tested to compete in all the games, and I was only able to compete in those 3 games. So all the games I competed in, I podiumed in. I actually tested top for dowsing. I didn't get to do that, and there's some other stuff I'll talk about, but man, the Psi Games has completely changed my life. It's allowed me to meet amazing people like you.
Mm.
And I just gotta say this, I knew that you had some kind of the alien and kind of extra dimension and all that kind of other stuff, but
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the last time we talked we quite knew that was so much of a thing for either of us too.
No, I know.
So I definitely want to touch on that too, because
Yes,
dude,
yes.
the last like ever since it's really just kind of coming to terms with myself, right? And so
Mhm.
I'll just kind of jump in. So
Yeah.
um, I do all these amazing things. I'm also a father and an artist. I'm also a professional. I actually have a human services, mental health, and counseling degree from Metro State, which is one of the accredited colleges here in Colorado. I also have an industrial design degree from the Art Institute of Denver, which was an amazing degree if I was going to uproot my family, but that just didn't happen. So forbeared my loans, went back for the mental health stuff. Totally an amazing choice as well. But so I'm also an artist. I'm also a musician. I'm also a professional motorcycle racer. I'm also a professional long driver.
You wear
Um,
many
so,
hats.
so everything I do, I just commit 100%, right? And I get hyper focused, and I get as far as I want to get, and then we're on to the next thing, right?
Yeah,
And um, really kind of an underlying this entire time. I'm sorry, I just realized I'm swiveling, dude. I can't stop moving.
it's okay.
Um, so I have this lifetime of kind of having this precognition, um, always being able to feel people's emotions, be able to read their energies. So I'm my parents' real blood child, but I actually grew up literally as long as I can remember with having foster brothers and sisters in my home that actually had special needs. Most of them were nonverbal, and just kind of getting those I won't say a direct telepathy like a lot of people would say, but being able to learn everything from non-human community, non-human, non-verbal communication,
Right.
to having a degree of telepathy where you're able to just tell by looks and gestures, you know what I mean? Or and not
Mhm.
even that. Sometimes it can just be the feeling that because the people's schedule, the people, right? The same way a mom knows what's going on with their kid, even though they
Yeah.
can't talk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I kind of grew up with all this kind of precursor stuff. I'm actually I'm trying to give the condensed version here because I can ramble, man. But I actually in elementary school, from third to fifth grade, I was part of the GATE program here in Colorado, 100%. It was there's lore that it was to do kind of like a psychic screening, as we were still kind of, and we still might be, kind of at odds with like Russia, and you had the Cold War, and it kind of started off. But
Mhm.
I think it tailed off into something different in like the late 2000s or early 2000s. But I definitely was part of it. My mom worked as a teacher at the school, and kind of, I don't think she knew what was going on, but my family's still very natural. Like we're not going to take the flu shot every year. We'd rather take the risk of getting the flu, but we are still going to get like immunized for like measles, right? Like we're intelligent about what we do with our bodies, right?
Right.
And so I don't want to get like super conspiracy theory because this stuff's a little bit that. But long story short, I do, for all intents and purposes, looking back as an adult, psychic testing in this GATE program, or at least a portion of it was that. Um, and I remember the pink drink, and I remember having a fight with my mother because my mother was a teacher at the school, and she did not let me have the pink drink or the tablets. I remember just getting in a fight with her. I'm like, I wanted to be like all the other kids that were getting to do it, and I felt like I was already getting to do all this special stuff. Why am I not getting this? You know what I mean? I remember having like a temper tantrum at my elementary school about
Wow.
it, but in retrospect, and really, a lot of this emotional stuff has not really been brought up since the Psi Games, right? Because, I'll kind of get into my story here, but really everything has been kind of resurfacing, I guess is what I'll say, like
Yeah.
spiritually,
Right.
and all these, ESP kind of powers, kind of post having a near death experience, and just trying to tap in for the Psi Games, you know what I mean? So I'm part of this GATE program, and I won't go into all the details because that could be a whole thing in itself. But they
Mhm.
do. Like, I distinctly remember Zener cards. I distinctly remember like word puzzles and knots, and I remember just being pissed off as like a fifth grader. Not so much when I was younger, but like I remember being a pissed off fifth grader. Like, why am I being pulled from class when they're in there? Because I don't know. I'm just gonna date myself. Gangster's Paradise was like the main rap song here when I was in fifth grade here in Denver, right? And it was on this KS 1075, right? And they were getting the opportunity to take a test while the music just played, and it was playing Gangster's Paradise, and I got pulled out of class to go try to solve a knot. And I remember just thinking, what is happening? Do you know what I
It's
mean?
so
So
crazy.
I have all these memories of this GATE program, and I remember blowing their mind too because I could get um, oh my god, I just had the word. The shapes. There's a word for it. Something like something a graph. Oh my god, I just had it tip of my tongue.
See,
But
I know what you mean. Yeah.
the shape things that you would then make like a bird, or you would make like a
Yep.
pattern out of. I would stack them on each. I just had to hit my tongue again, but I can't think of it. I would stack them and make them 3D, and that would just blow the tester guy away, right? And to the point that after the program closes in my fifth grade, like fifth grade mid-year, just all the way gone, just nothing else. Now
Mhm.
you're gonna go from getting this one dude that's coming in this entire time over 2 years. You're just gonna start getting a para, and you're gonna start, mixing baking soda and vinegar and make a volcano
Right.
from this other stuff. I mean, you know what I mean? And it was still cool. Like, and it got more into like business stuff, and like politics, and that was never my thing. So then I kind of just went, and as I went into like middle school and high school, just kind of dropped out of it and just went back to normal classes, right? Because I don't want to be a political leader, at least not yet. Still don't
Right.
really want to be, but I remember thinking then, I'm like, this is not, I
Mhm.
don't, business owner, not my thing, you know, give me that ESP Xander card stuff, I'm in. But
Right.
anyway, so I dropped out of it. I continue on through school. About 16, 17, start racing motorcycles. I actually started racing them earlier, but really picked up with it. Did everything from race motorcycles all over the United States while going to college and having a job on top of it. It's called being a privateer. So I do this. I actually get all the way up to my B license, which is like basically AAA. A license is like a pro rider. Um, get all the way into it, kind of have to drop off. I end up becoming a therapeutic foster home like my parents were, me and my wife.
Mm.
We end up having some kids and just have to be a little bit smarter. So racing was still happening, but just happening more here in Colorado. I end up graduating, like I said, from both the Art Institute of Denver and from Metro State. Things start coming together. I end up getting all my licenses to become one of the registered behavioral therapists here in Colorado.
Amazing.
Um, I do that for a minute. I do it in long-term care settings. I'm still racing this whole time. My family's kind of cruising along. My mom gets diagnosed with cancer in 2008 and then passes in 2015. Um, it was kind of abrupt the way it happened. She died of a brain aneurysm. And I'm just going to talk about this for just a moment because if I didn't mention my mom, I would feel like I didn't do it justice.
Oh.
Um, my mom is such a big influence on my life. My dad is too. I got blessed with amazing parents. I will
Mhm.
not say anything but that. My dad like sturdy reality, but like love,
Yeah.
and my mom a little bit, spiritual and metaphysical and love. You know what I mean? And so I got a lot of love, and I want to continue to promote that to the world. And at that time, like I was saying, we were trying to be a therapeutic foster home. We were trying to have our own family. We're just trying to keep on, doing what I knew, for all intents
Mhm.
and purposes. And um, my mom passing throws this big giant wrench into everything. She was definitely the pack leader. She'd always say she was this black wolf and this like pack leader and would protect all of us. And my friends would always be at my house. So even like my side trainer Cheryl, like her and her husband were always with us, and like we would have like a group of like probably 70 people that were all different religions on Thanksgiving, and like to the point that we would have fights at Thanksgiving because these would be perfect strangers and they would have completely different beliefs. But we're like, no, dude, if you're at this table, like you can still have your own beliefs, but you're gonna sit at this table and dude, we're all just here to meet each other and converse. And
Mhm.
man, my mom had like one Thanksgiving where it was like 200 people from everything from like our school to like our friends and family and
Wow.
relatives that came in and all different sorts of people. Let me tell you. And
Wow.
man, it went about as well as it could. But man, it's my mom was just this main beacon of like love, right? And
Mhm.
so when she passed, like a bunch of the, I say this, just reality, a bunch of the family kind of faded out. Not that they're not there, not that they're, not loving and caring, but uh, man, I'll just be honest with you, Emma. I had basically all of my family, but my dad, like my great, like because I had grandparents too through all this that we would do like
Mhm.
family reunions. I had like literally everybody in my family die, but my dad and an aunt, in like a time period of like 5 years, basically starting
Wow.
with my mom's death. And then a coup de grace with 2020, and I was in long term care. And man, there was one day where we had 15 deaths, and like 9 of those were like people that I cared about. Like I had made a 50-year anniversary because we had both the wife was in our dementia unit and the husband was up on our like not independent but like just more independent unit, and they had their 50th anniversary, and me and my mom are thinking about starting a business to do this like cake business because we're both artists and stuff, and uh, we make this amazing 50th anniversary cake for them. And then they like one of them ended up passing within like a week of that. And like the family was so grateful. And man, and then just COVID and we everything was different because you couldn't have everybody in. And it just, man, you're going through that, but then going through that for like 2 years, you know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
COVID lasted so much longer than 2020. And I don't, at
Mhm.
least in healthcare, and man, just and seeing people's personalities that you thought were these hardcore people that were everything, and then they jump ship first. You know what I mean? You know what I
Right.
mean? And you just learn a lot about people, and having that telepathy and being with those people in their last moments and doing your best with what you have,
Mhm.
and that spiritually just took so much from me. And there was some, I won't say anything, but there were some people that were in power that made choices that I wouldn't have made. You know what I mean? And then just having to sit with that, because then at that other time, it's like the whole world shut down. What else are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You're just
Yeah.
kind of stuck, and man, and it was just a hard time. So I do these hyper meditations um, to kind of get myself out of it. So let me back up one more time. So when my mom died in 2015, I ended up passing as well for 4 minutes. But so let me give one more cool story about my mom. I've got all these cool stories about my mom, but I want to give one more. So uh, talking about an unfortunate part of being psychic. My dad calls me all the time. It's not uncommon. I just knew this one time my dad called at like a weird time, and I just knew picking up that phone it was going to be the different call, right? And so
Mm.
um, I get the call from my dad. I rush over. Me and my dad get to this hospital that my son was born at. I've been at 100 times for 100 different surgeries. Like I'm two of the nurses were high school friends of mine. So like not a
Wow.
good or bad between me and my mom. Everybody knew us there,
Yeah.
and so uh, you know we get there. Mom ends up passing within about 2 minutes of me getting there. She dies for about 4 minutes. They're trying to resuscitate her. They call the death, but they still have her hooked up to the machines. And then I just said, like, Mom, Aaron's my best friend. He lives in Michigan, and he was just happened to be at the time. And sorry,
No, it's
uh, we I'm telling him like Aaron's also like her kid. Like our friends are family, right? So it's like she came back. She got this jolt of like the machine turned back on. They're like, okay, well we got a pulse. You guys have to go back over here. We're gonna take her back, right? My friends come in, like all the friends come in, the family fly in. She lasts for about 10 more hours. And long story short, everybody gets to say goodbye. It's as good as it could be, right? And so
yeah.
I'm still amped up. Obviously, I'm still amped up. We about 4 months later. That's in like April. Like September is when these motocross championships happen. So
Mhm.
I get all going to win this motocross championship, and I'm in fourth place. I have a chance to win the championship or at least get top three. Right over my head to try to make that happen, and I end up killing myself in front of my family. Kind of another great situation. And all my race team and all my friends at this championship race at this track that's like my main track. It's a track I've ridden 1,000 times. I literally take my kids out there still. It's just, it just was a moment of what happens in dirt bikes, you know what I mean? And so I end up passing in front of my family. And while I'm passed on this jump, I know which jump it is. That jump still exists. It's still part of the track.
Oh my
I always kind of like half that jump, just don't even need it. But the long story short, my mom's on this jump with me. The race is gone, and I have this out of body experience, like on this jump, but like in space. And it's just me and her. And then she kind of like brings me to these moments of like, I say like Ebenezer Scrooge, where he goes to the past, present, and future kind of thing. Not so much the past, but it was like taking me to these moments that I need to see outside of myself, of like how I
God.
was affecting my kid. My oldest son won't race motorcycles because he saw that. You know what I mean? And
Oh.
you know what I mean? And so it's like it's just really opening my eyes to like this bigger picture, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And
Mhm.
um when I come back, I'm in the hospital for about a month, to the point that I got to learn what FMLA was and got to learn like all these things about being employed while you're in the hospital for an extended period. I come back with this color overlay though, and it's changes my life, right? And so this color overlay visually, so I don't know, this is going to only speak to a handful of people, but anybody that's been knocked in the head or has gone unconscious, sometimes when you come back your vision might have a different color. You see stars, but you get like a visual overlay on top of your actual vision, right? And
Mhm.
so the best way I can describe this without you know getting too crazy with it is like if you were to have like blue and red old school 90s 3D goggles where it kind of
Mhm.
makes things hit harder. And depending on how you look at it, it's not perfect, right? It's not exactly what you're looking at, but might make it project forward. And so these kind of color projections have a lot of emotion with me, right? And so between having to heal from all that and just having about a month to just sit with my decisions and really learn like what is am I just like is this just a new thing now I've got this messed up vision or is this something else like so I come back and everything's amplified. And so, but I want to say one more thing just so people get one more baseline. I'm watching the time too. So so I've always had this crazy precognition, right? And so even from like the moment I turned 18, we went on this cruise. Once you're in international waters, like a gamble, right? My very first time experiencing gambling is on this cruise ship, and I ended up winning like I think like $12,000
Oh my
like
God.
on this cruise ship, right? And like my parents are like, "Are you fucking?" Sorry, your parents are you? My parents are like, "Are you? No way!" Like there's just no way, right? And so my very first experience gambling was like this giant win, and I end up racing through motocross. We end up going to Vegas about 4 or 5 times a year between racing bicycles, racing. Oh yeah, I race motor or bicycles as well. I'm an amateur national champion in bicycle racing. Anyway, so we go racing in all these places, right? And Vegas is one of them. And I have so much success for about 10 years in Vegas. And to the point that like we become friends with this band called Steel Panther. And my mom and my whole family gets up on stage at one point when they're playing at House of Blues. We have all these crazy experiences. We end up having a family reunion there as well. And so I actually have tattoos of Vegas. Where is it? Is it back here? I forget where it is. So you should think I would know where my Vegas tattoo is. Anyways, I have a Vegas tattoo. Like it's the sign of Vegas. Darn it. I think it's back here. Where is it?
Oh,
I
yep.
mean,
See it?
is
Yep.
it back there?
Yep.
So so anyways, Vegas becomes like a big part of our life, right? And so this whole time I'm like literally showing my friends and family, my race team, like there's some sort of precognition there because I can be hyper successful with minimal effort, right? And so
Mhm.
um long story short, I get one more job opportunity to go race cars in Vegas, and I become this trainer for car racing in Vegas for a minute at their international speedway. So Vegas was great to me, you know what I mean? But that was also a little bit younger Ryan, you know. So we end up getting into all the stuff where we're kind of currently at, right? So we're the house, the family, the mortgage, you know, we're getting more into adult life. My mom's been passed now for about 10 years. Um, a little bit longer than that. But you know, within all this, I learned about this thing called the Psi Games, right? And so I think I have this like telepathy version that where I can kind of tap in to other folks' emotions and thoughts, and I know I'm really good with behaviors. I have this clinical background, and I've got years of doing it where I'm very well regarded as like I still hold like many jobs as like crisis intervention and just de-escalation. So I've definitely got some sort of talent with behaviors and this precognition, right? And
Mhm.
so um, I hear about this thing called the Psi Games. I hear about it through social media. I tell my friend Cheryl, who is now my trainer, and my wife, I'm like, guys, you guys have been along for this entire ride. I even call my other friend Aaron, the guy from Michigan. I'm like, dude, do you think I should do this? Because man, this might be the real opportunity to show people that like because
Yeah.
I would say I'm psychic and I would make a joke about it, but then I'd be like, but I got the receipts, dude. Like I really
Right.
do. You know what I mean? So I got it on my taxes, people. So you know what I mean? Like it's real for us, but there's not this like formal, controlled way of showing it, right?
Mhm.
So I end up just being like doing my normal thing, just send it, pulling out the dirt bike and just being like, I don't really care what haters are gonna say. I don't really care because the moto community is very religious. I mean, I'll just say it. And Brandy's family is very religious, and my family's accepting. But I mean, they kind of have their own beliefs too. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's kind of a big risk to be like, oh, hey, everybody. But at the same token, I wanted to start posting because
Yeah.
everything in my heart knew that we were going to go and show. Maybe we may
Mhm.
not win, but we were going to go and show that like dude from Colorado with motos got something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I started posting the moment I applied for the Psi Games. I actually did this big video. You can see it on my Facebook. And I've turned my Facebook public. I post it like literally the day that we apply for Psi Games. And I do this big like, guys, I just want you to know, I think I'm psychic and I think I've had it this whole time.
Yeah.
And there's this place to show it called the Psi Games, and I'm gonna go for it. So if you're in with me, let's go. And if you need to drop off, I understand. You know what I mean? And I just want to say that although I know the moto community, it's not their favorite, and they've kind of had it shoved in their face with me and my social media. Man, there's been nothing but love and support, and even my moto community. I ended up winning my retirement championship. I won both the championship race, and that championship race gave me the overall championship. And I ended up winning an AMA plate, which is like a huge accomplishment in motorcycle
Amazing.
racing. So I ended up leaving on this amazing note, and I dressed like Vecna. I have this like red and black crazy suit that I got because it was a red, it was supposed to be a red carpet, black tie event, you know what I mean? And so,
Right.
so I went crazy with
Hilarious.
it, and just ended on this like amazing note, right? And so I just want to tell that community, and they gave me like they have this like thing that runs at this banquet where they hand us all out, and they gave me like a bunch of media time, and I just want to say thank you to the RMRA. I'm still going to be back for a couple races, guys, but I think I'm done. I had two friends get very, very hurt, and I think they both had to take a breather in a moment, and just
Yeah.
some back to like reality, right? So that this is a dangerous thing, and I am getting old, and man, I've got all the size stuff on like dial. One more big concussion might really mess that all up, and I don't
Right,
at
right.
this moment I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just a little bit more adult intelligence, I would think. So, anyways, we signed up for Psi Games. I start posting all of my training sessions. It gets to the point where it gets so crazy so quickly that we're like, instead of just posting the sizzle reel, we just started posting whole sessions because it was just easier to catch all the stuff that was happening. And
Mm.
people to know too is that like you can see my progression. People, it's not like this happened overnight and like Mindsight happens in a week. Like from the moment we started posting, I mean, you can just see my progression. Even at Psi Games, I'm much more in tune now with what I can do than where I was even at Psi Games. And so
Yeah.
I just want people to know I'm very transparent. I do my best to show the setups of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Within all that as well, I also encourage people to try this kind of stuff on their own. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think we all have it within ourselves. I think good or bad, there are things that help kind of bring it out. You know what I mean? Um, but I think that everybody has it, and everybody has their own way of doing it. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people will tell you their way is the best, or there's one way. I mean, you even have religions saying we're the best, and we'll tell you how to get to all
Right.
these places. But who knows? You know what I mean? And the reality to me in my human services, kind of meeting everybody and seeing wealthy to poor to drug addicts to the mom that's just trying to get by, you know what I mean? And just everybody in between.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think there's one way, you know what I mean? And I hate to be like this, but I'm going to do one more thing and bring up Stranger Things. But Will has this epiphany moment where he had to answer all the answers the whole time, right? And
Hmm.
so people can help guide you. I can't tell you how to do the right thing. In any of these demonstrations or any of these things that I'm going to talk about, I don't know if that's the way it's going to work for you. You know what I mean? And anybody that says that they do, they're maybe, but I'm just going to say that in a clinical field, a drug hits everybody differently, right? And
Yeah.
and and therapies hit different people differently.
Hmm.
Traumatic experiences, you could have two people sitting side by side, and they may have completely different experiences of one instance. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where one it affects the entire time, when it's just one more part of their day and they're moving on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that meaning of what I'm trying to say, I think all of us side trainers, I think all of us side participants that are willing to put ourselves out there, I think all we're asking is that you open yourself up to these possibilities and see our processes. And guys, if you're going to do it, show your process, because take the ability of haters that hate out of it, and don't make it so elusive and dark, and start raising
Hmm.
the consciousness on this stuff, instead of trying to keep it so elite, I guess would be the way to put it. And I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to say one more thing, because I would be remiss if I didn't, the same way I mentioned my moto community and my BMX community, because they're who fill my heart. Man, you and Mandy and the folks from Weird Technologies, you guys are filling my heart, because man, just meeting all of you and seeing that cool stuff, and getting to participate with that, man, that literally is making a whole big impact on my life. And I just want to say thank
Amazing.
you to her and you and Weird Technologies, and just for giving this crazy, because you're in England.
I know.
So I want people to know Emma's from England, and
Yep.
so it's like a whole thing of them letting this crazy motocross dude from Colorado, into their home. So I just want to say thank you to you and everybody from England, because man,
Mm,
it's been international, since we went to the Psi Games. And I'll go jump back in, but I want to jump into just some fun. You know what I mean? I now do trainings. I have folks from everywhere from Germany to I have one person from Brazil. I've got a handful from throughout the United States, and I
amazing.
literally keep getting more daily, and I'm getting this kind of community, and I do just want to say I don't think that there's a size for everybody, right? And so I think everybody, I think one thing the Psi community needs to remember as trainers too is that the psychotherapy where you really learn about yourself, you learn how to hold yourself and be confident in yourself,
Mm,
and realize what's happening on around you. Really, getting into that what they might call shadow work in the Psi world, or just getting to know your ego. I mean, I know sometimes I can be full of myself, right? And I try to keep it at a minimum, but it's the racer in me, right? But at the same token, if I'm going to be presenting to a person in crisis, that racer Ryan does not matter at that moment.
yeah.
We have a whole different thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just want people to know that, like, in my opinion, this is Ryan's experience. A
Hmm.
lot of the side stuff happens because I don't come with that judgment of it can't happen. I
Yeah.
don't come with that judgment of I think one way is the right way. So if it doesn't fit with that way, then it just can't be. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And
Yeah.
and I'm a very open guy, guys. I don't know. I don't pretend to be some spiritual guru. That out of everything, I am not the spiritual guru. But what I can tell you is that in terms of unlocking psi abilities, I think everybody has their own answers. And I think you find it a lot through what I call flow state, or what anybody in action sports would call flow state.
Mm,
Everybody can find their flow state, even if they're not an action sports guy. I mean, maybe if you're a writer or a poet or an artist,
yeah.
or you're an action sports dude and it's sending a triple or a BMX jump, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you find these abilities to connect with your higher self, connect with spirit, connect with the universe or God or source, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
I mean, really, it's in my opinion, it's connecting with yourself, right? If you're going to bet on somebody, dude, bet on yourself, because then at that point, it's all on you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And that's what I
Yeah.
think I love about racing compared to like team sports, because racing teaches you that, man, you're the driver. You literally are the driver. You are literally the person that's going to put in the effort and energy to achieve your outcomes, and apply
Hmm.
that to anything in life, your
Yeah.
career, your parenting. You know what I mean? If you're going to bet on somebody, bet on yourself, and don't leave any regrets, man, because I have seen death. I've literally seen thousands of deaths, and I see the smiles on people's faces when I think they know they lived it. You know what I mean? And there's
Yeah.
there's a distinct
Um,
smile where it's like, man, that last moment for them, it's like they're like, all right. And then there's other folks where it's just not the same. That's what I'll
mm,
say on that.
yeah.
And it's in my heart, man, for me, that moment of when I know my soul's going to find out whatever's next, I'm going to have that smile, because I am leaving no stone unturned. I am dedicating everything to everything. You know what I mean? And man, I
Excellent.
think that's just also why I live so much on like adrenaline and coffee.
Right.
I've actually given myself like a pretty good ulcer lately, so I've been having to get off every single interview. I've had a coffee, guys. This one I have water, because I've been getting myself an ulcer. Trying to just push so much. Um, but I just I want to make sure people know that, like, this is all of us, man.
Mm,
It's there's a bigger consciousness. My mom and spirits and orbs and all these bigger things are all part of this bigger version than what you're being told,
absolutely.
at school. My wife's a teacher, and don't get me wrong, we need to know math. We need to
Right.
know how to read and write. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So it's not like school's this evil force that I think some people think it is, but I do think schools have agendas, and corporations have agendas,
Hmm.
and and just being aware, right? And so being an intelligent parent, right? And
Yeah.
so I guess where I'm going to go with all this is, so we go to the Psi Games. We end up making it to the Psi Games. We show all the testing. At the Psi Games, I meet Hakeem Isler for the first time. I meet literally, I had to bring a book out because, man, I want people to see, like, this was a no joke event. It had programs. You
Amazing.
had all day. schedules.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And so you had everybody from, I'm just going to, because I'm never going to be able to say all these names right. I mean, I'm just going to give you a few folks to like give like a quick shout out to. But I mean, just some of the keynote speakers as well. Danny
Mhm.
Sheehan was right up front. So Danny Sheehan was right in the first row of when they were doing the Psi Games. And I just remember I could feel Danny Sheehan and his hair right behind me on every single game I was doing. Because dude was, it didn't matter what game it
Wow.
was, I ended up right in front of Danny Sheehan. And I could just tell that dude was watching me like a hawk. And
Oh
I
my
think it was maybe
gosh.
him and his wife or another female colleague, or I don't know who it was, but I know who Danny
Mhm.
Sheehan was, and Danny Sheehan was right behind me, and
That's
and you see
amazing.
all the way that they're trying to control it. You see that
Mhm.
like remote viewing, they're basically in this like even like air like what are they called? The like sound muffling triangles. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I forget what they're called, but like an air sealed like desk where they can only look forward. There's no sound extra coming
Mhm.
in, and they're doing this test on this computer program that basically is like a sheet of paper, and they would write down like colors or emotions. They would write down all these things, right? And there would be an image that's an AI image projected on the screen that everybody in the ballroom could see, right? And so as controlled as you can make it, there is I always am going to forget people's names. I am the worst at names. So,
That's
guys, if I've been
okay.
on a podcast, I think I've said David Tran's name was John Tran. David Tran. I know I've messed up on that one. I met so many people, man. There's so many people that I've been meeting in such a condensed period. I've messed up on a few names. So,
That's all right.
long story short, I know David Tran. You're my buddy. I'm sorry, man. I know I messed that one up. Um, but long story short, we meet all these people, man, these people that you've only seen on TV, right? I mean, everybody from Chris Bledsoe and like that whole crew, and Emily Bledsoe and Ryan Bledsoe,
Mhm.
and you had the Vision Without Eyes team and John, and you had the folks from Weird Technology with the
Yeah.
Phoenix, and the Phoenix. I just want to say this to them as well. That Phoenix for me as an artist was like a focal point, not only
Mhm.
because of how cool it looked, but its function as well. And like the timing of when it lit up, that was cool, guys. And Hakeem, I don't know how much that thing cost, but that was sick, dude.
Oh
So,
gosh.
you know what I mean? Like, but it's just this amazing, right? And there's all these people speaking. We go through Friday, we meet all these amazing people. We are definitely the Happy Gilmore. There was a dude that had a EKG machine as like a, like a the sensor thing, right? And so
Yeah.
I have a Happy Gilmore moment where I'm like, dude, I like your Ghostbusters helmet, and he's like, it's an EKG machine. You know what I mean? Give me this like real serious, like, you know what I mean? I don't know who that dude is, and I'm sure he'll remember who I am, but like, I don't know. It's just this moment of like, oh, I did not say the right thing there.
Oh
And so like
no.
everybody else is dressed in like professional, like suit and tie.
All
I'm
right.
walking around in my race jersey. So it's just this whole big thing. Me and my wife are fitting in, but we're not really fitting in. We actually kind of hang out with the Bledsoe crew a little bit more.
Nice.
Not Ryan Bledsoe or Emily Bledsoe, but I think one of the dudes he does a podcast with, we hung out with him and his wife, and we
Nice.
meet all these amazing people. I end up accruing like kind of like a Happy Gilmore style. I end up accruing some folks that we met through the Chris Bledsoe had a Skywatch on Friday night that we were going to go to, but then we ended up not going to for reasons. And so we
Oh.
ended up acquiring maybe about 30 people to just go outside this park, where they were going
Wow.
to do it. We saw the exact same sky, but anyways, we were out there, and so we accrued this like group of about 30 people. We were out there singing and dancing and trying to see the same stuff, and then they got to know that I was going to be one of the perceptualists, and it was just this amazing moment with these random people that we met, just at the Psi Games.
That's so
Only
fun.
to have on Saturday when we actually are in the Psi Games. There's a point during psychokinesis where I ask everybody to cheer because I'm a moto dude, and I want that because everybody just being quiet just feels weird. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I was like, guys, come on, I want to feel it. You know what I mean? And so everybody starts cheering. And a lot of the cheering crowd was this crew that we had met that night before and got kind of rowdy with. So, I am the Happy Gilmore of the Psi Games. Uh, like I said, we ended up killing it. Psychokinesis was using an Igloo wheel inside of like a painter's.
Yeah.
box, or like a sandblasting box where you can kind of look in, but you're sealed in your arms.
Mhm.
Dowsing was picking out metals underneath wooden slabs, and then they also did dowsing for like images on storage, like little laptop storage units. And Mindsight was amazing, and I'll just talk about that because I might do a demonstration of that because that's an easier one to do in terms of like timing.
Mhm.
Uh, the the Dahlia and Lidu, I just want to say at the Psi Games had a moment that made everybody cry, including myself. Dahlia has this moment where she not only does Mindsight faster than anybody, she has 100% accuracy. I feel really bad for this dude named Steve that she went up against because Steve had no chance.
Oh
You know what I mean?
no.
And luckily I didn't have to go against Dahlia. I got to go against some other folks. But long story short, Dahlia does this donut, this color demonstration, which I'm going to do a version of, but does this color demonstration, gets 100% accuracy, crazy fast time, like she's done it, like it was just second nature. And then she does this other one where she's calling out colors. Me and the other guy that win for the individuals, we get down the stage, so we show that we got something, but
Mhm.
we don't go down the stage and through the audience and all the way to the edge of the arena, or not the arena, but the ballroom, right? And
Right.
so, I mean, out of control. And then Lidu does this like telepathy where they talk about this, this person over here is seeing the card. Lidu can't see the card. Dahlia's got blindfolds on. They're calling out these cards by literally doing telepathy with each other, like communicating to the point that they get the card exactly right. And so when you see things like that, and you're like, you're seeing the setup, you're seeing the process. And man,
Mhm.
and once again, I'm the moto dude from Colorado with some precog and maybe some behavioral sort of telepathy. When you start seeing that stuff, you're like, man, you can't unsee that. You can't go back to being like, well, this isn't real anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Right.
so, and there's all these other booths. I just want to talk about the Psi Games a little bit more, but there's all these booths and there's all these experiences where you can go in with sound bowls and get like aura pictures. And
Mhm.
everybody in the group did this like vibrating table with these like lights, and it gives you these like patterns in your vision, and you're having like a psychedelic experience without any of the drugs. And
Wow.
and it's just this whole weekend of crazy, right? And
Mhm.
so, and then you get to meet, dude, that I just showed you a handful of the people. There was probably about 30 more people that were presenters, and like I said, you had Vibravision, and you had all these different remote viewings, and you had different podcasts, and like just and authors, and just all these things, and you're getting a moment to actually speak with these people, and it
Mhm.
hasn't been Comic-Con yet. Do you know what I mean? Where
Right,
you're
right.
you're waiting in a 3 hour line
Yeah.
to meet these people. You can
Yeah.
just kind of be like, and the people going know that, like, yeah, I might have to say hi to somebody. So you can just kind of go up and talk. Like, I just want to say one more powerful thing about the Psi Games, and then I want to talk about one more thing, and then we'll go into the demonstration. So there's this kid named Kid of Wonder who I met the day of the track walk Thursday when we get in, right? And we just get a very brief outline of what it's going to look like, and they're like, we're just going to let it flow, kind of thing. Not really, but I mean, there was definitely a setup to it, right? So it's not
Right.
just letting it flow, but they just talked about it, the structure, right? And so
Right.
I meet this Kids of Wonder YouTube channel, and this kid and his dad, and man, we're just meeting with each other. It's kind of cool. One of the people cheering for sure was him and his dad during the Psi Games
Mhm.
themselves. And then after the Psi Games, he comes up to give me this like gift, and it was these Zener cards that were his like YouTube, and it was this whole big thing. And
Oh.
he went to like have me sign his badge, and I went to give him a handshake, and he comes in for a hug, and it was just like this moment, man. I mean,
Oh.
what I want people to know is like when you truly lead from the heart, when your heart matches your words, matches your actions, man. I've had everybody and anybody over that wants to see me do it for real or see the orbs, and I want to talk about that because that's the last thing I want to talk about. Because I say all this stuff, right, and to me, man, I'm a moto dude. If I'm gonna say it, I know I got it in the bag. You know what I mean? Like I won't broadcast it unless I know I can do it. or at least get
Mhm.
close enough that like everyone can see that like there's something, right? And
Right.
so um, we have these amazing experiences at the Psi Games. There's so much synchronicity of my life post Psi Games, everything from
Mhm.
like animal experiences to orbs, and I want to talk to you about that. To just meeting so many people at the right moment and
Yeah.
so many new experiences and man, I'm thankful for every moment of it because it's man, I do want the biggest baddest dad lore of all time. I want
Yeah. You
to know
got
that man,
it.
I want to know that when I had the opportunity to do what I wanted to
Mhm.
do on this earth, if I get asked the question, did you accomplish everything you wanted to, or at least I always say it, man, when you got the chance to dance, did you dance?
Yeah.
Man, I want to think I came with the biggest, baddest choreographed, dance there ever was. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So that all being said, and it's nothing new. And I don't want to. This is going to get off the weird topic of psi and onto the even weirder topic of like UAPs and spirits, right? So, man, I'm just going to give you two back to back, Emma. Then you tell me yours.
Okay.
So I have a spiritual experience where we used to live in this house where it had a very deep basement that was built into like a bedrock, right? So part of the wall of this house was just the rock of the ground, right? And so, and it had this old school horrible plumbing system, so you couldn't put anything down there. But, anyways, it just this very old, very natural part of this house, right? And so we would always call it haunted. It was very haunted, and so to the point that like me and my wife ended up moving down there at a point right when we first got married, just to kind of get to the point where we could get into a house or get into something.
Mhm.
We were living down there, and like there was this flood where both me and my wife were woken up by water, and we're this. So there was a flood. We didn't know this, but we were woken up by this water being splashed on us, and we saw this white female. I can't really get much more of a depiction than that, but like kind of flash at us, then flash off, right? And then we are like, what in the heck was that? You know what I mean? So we get up and start walking around just trying to analyze what we just saw because we both saw it. And we end up, and we were like, why are we kind of wet? Why are the pillows wet? And like literally across the room, so there's no way this water could have hit us. There's this like flood because it's one of the pipes have broken and it's starting to flood the basement where we are. But like it must have just happened. So we ended up waking up to catch it, in a relative amount of time where it didn't make as much of a damage as it nearly could have. You know what I mean? And
Right, right.
and then I started having. So I've always kind of had these orb experiences. I've had them. Man, I love the ocean. Even though I'm a Colorado dude, I'm literally covered in ocean tattoos. Pacific Ocean specifically. Not that there's anything wrong with the Atlantic Ocean, you Florida folks. I love that ocean too. Don't get me wrong. I got hammerheads on me. I'm
Nice.
definitely more of a Pacific Ocean, like Big Island, California kind of
Mhm.
guy. And like, so I have all these tattoos of the marine life from that area, right? And so, um, long story short, I have all these animal experiences, which kind of lead into these UAP experiences, right? And so I feel like the more that you connect with nature, the more, and once again, I don't claim to have all the answers, man. It could be conscious plasmoids. It could be what I think it is, and this is just Ryan's opinion, and this is Ryan's uneducated opinion. Is it's something from the earth? I feel like it's more of like a natural, like earth spirit or guidance or just something from our earth. I don't know. I don't know if I think it's so much like an alien thing coming to view me. I think this is something that's here saying, yeah, you're doing it right. And so could it be like an angel or a demon? It could be. Could it be a non-human intelligence or a conscious plasmoid? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Uh, Ryan likes to believe it comes from the earth and is some sort of a verification from the earth that like, hey man, you're paying attention, so we're gonna hang out for a minute. You know what I mean? And so my whole family has been experiencing these things. I've posted stuff for the last decade, especially since we moved into this current house, the Rhino Pit. We've had because we're relatively close to one of the most notorious airports there ever was with DIA and our death horse. If you don't know anything about it, look it up. DIA Denver International Airport is like notoriously known for everything from like lizard people to these
What?
underground bunkers, the New World Order, dude. And it was legit. So the things they show now as like the conspiracy stuff is like stuff from like 10 years ago. The airport doesn't look like that now, but that stuff was in the airport for a long, long time.
Oh
And
my
so if you
gosh.
look it up, if you want to look it up, it's just like the gate program. It's all lore. Who knows, right? But I can tell you, I live within viewing distance of it's the wings, but it looks like a mustache. I can see like the individual windows of the Mustache Hotel that's part of it,
Is it
and
the old Air Force Base?
no, no. So it's a whole thing, man. You gotta just look it up. We had this other one called Stapleton. There was no reason to build it. There's all this extra dirt and construction material that can't be accounted for. And like literally to the point that the airport itself has like pictures of like lizard people on the walls and like and dude, it had some gnarly murals that were really there. And I
Mhm.
think most of that stuff that was pretty crazy up front has been taken down just through construction. But
Right.
like, man, that stuff really did exist. I'm from Denver, guys. That stuff really existed in DIA, and man, we
Mm.
see the craziest stuff. So I'll just jump into it. We've seen orbs. I just yesterday had one released with Lights Over Loveland of a Skywatch. He did just 3 hours. That was only 3 hours of a Skywatch. He was here
Wow.
from 6 to 9, and that included doing some Psi training with Justin.
Oh, how fun.
We caught probably so his folks, his we call them folks or homies. His homie orbs would show up around Cassiopeia, and they would kind of
Mm.
come in and flash in, right? And my homies are way different, not way different, but they come in different. My
Right.
homies definitely rise up from the earth, man. You can almost see it. They kind of
Wow.
rise up to your horizon and hang out and like
Yep.
flash in and out, or one might kind of move over and stop, and then
Mhm.
like it just totally different looks, right? And it was just such an amazing 3 hours because you got his going over here, you've got
Yep.
mine going over here. My wife's out there; she's because she's seen it too. She's seen some of the
Yep.
crazier stuff. Justin has this video of this triangle craft that we both have seen, which means that it flies around here regularly. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
To the point that we both were like, "Yeah, dude, that's exactly what I saw too." And he got it on video. I've got this other like Predator ship that I've gotten on video where it cloaks itself in the stars, and
Wow.
you can see its silhouette go through, but you can't see it. And I've
Yep.
got these on video, and like I post them, he posts his. We
Oh
just
my
did this colloquial
God.
night together with this Skywatch. And then, and I just want to say one more thing because I think you are the same type of person. Justin, I think you've always kind of known, just based on our last conversation,
Yeah.
know you a little bit. You've always kind of known there's a little bit extra. You've had all these things throughout your life, right?
Hmm.
This
Yep.
dude that I just worked with named Justin did not, right? And he was pretty skeptical. He's a military dude. Like he's
Right.
more like what you think of when you think of like BMX or moto, more military, probably was raised Christian. I don't know. And once again, I'm not speaking for Justin, so I don't know if this is Justin's backstory at all, but
Right, right.
I do know he's military, right? So
Yep.
especially with that type of a person, not all the time, but when you're that type of a person, you usually have some sort of general ideas, at
Yeah,
least here in the
yeah.
United States. So
Yep.
you know what I mean? So Justin's none of that, you know what I mean? And so he
Wow.
he comes in and he opens his heart, and dude picks up the size stuff immediately because he's
Wow.
kind of had his own epiphany moments of
Mm.
what that lifestyle also was also happening in his military background. You know what I mean? So he picks up the size stuff, and then as a result of that, he does like a haters video on the mindfold,
I
like
saw that.
like, you know what I mean? And he's done all of his own meditation, but it's like,
Yeah.
man, when you get into this and when you start experiencing it for yourself for the first time, or you have your epiphany moment, you have your shrimp
Mhm.
moment, right? You
Yep.
see the orbs, or you get two remote viewings in a row, and remote viewing is a hard thing to do. And you're like, dude, I'm 11. You know what I mean? I'm psychic. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
here's the reality: everybody is.
Yep.
Everybody knows when there's the dude or the woman staring at him from the back, and all of a sudden you look right at him. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And you know where it's coming from,
Yep.
right? And it's because at that moment, or like on the kind of more creepier side, I think energies are left in rooms or in items, right? And so I'm not claiming to be like a psychic medium. That's not what I'm claiming to be. but what I am saying is like my dirt bikes hold so much of my energy. My
Absolutely.
grandfather's hat that he used to wear all the time
Yep.
holds so much of his energy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so rocks and minerals, especially of like older buildings and places
Mhm.
that those where the earth is the structure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Those types of buildings typically like are like asylums and hospitals and prisons and things like that. But
Yep.
man, they hold so much of that energy. And man,
Mhm.
and I even showed Justin in one of these demonstrations when he was getting all emotional, he had an Igloo wheel under glass and he was just sitting there trying to focus on it, couldn't get it going, right? Was sitting away from the table. He was about, the closest he ever got to the table was maybe about 4 inches, not touching the table. And this Igloo wheel starts spinning when he starts getting emotionally elevated, right? And
Wow.
so, I caught videos, and he included it on his podcast. But like, I guess where I'm trying to go with this is like the adrenaline or
Mhm.
that elevated emotion, the fun factor for me, because man, anger can make it come out too, and I can affect electricity, and
Yep.
man, anger is just as powerful of a way, but maybe it may be more like a lightning bolt. Not to say that I'm shooting lightning, right? But like in terms of like it can come out hard and fast, but you don't have a lot of control
Right.
if I'm trying to be psychic anger, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yep.
But when you're doing it on more of a like love and this is
Mhm.
for good, this is like I'm this feels good in my heart.
Right.
This is for positive. It comes out slower, but you have more control. Do you know
Yep.
what I mean? And so I guess I guess where I'm just trying to go with all this is these people around me, these people in my life, the people that we're touching through podcasts are all starting to have their own experiences. They're posting their own versions of doing the different stuff that I've posted and doing
Yep.
their own stuff now. I mean, I think there's 2 psychic houses that just came out, on the social medias. You know what I mean? And so, in 1 year you have nothing to allot, or at
Mhm.
least, you know what I mean? And I just know, we'll do a couple of demonstrations and stuff, but I want people to know that like, a when we train for the Psi Games, we train for competition. I'm not really a trainer that's going to train you to increase your abilities. Oh, and I can do that. But where I'd like to focus on is on the folks that want to be in that competition setting where you're going to have people cheering. It's going to
Mm.
be a time crunch, and you don't have 20 minutes to get into the mode.
Right.
You've got
Right.
3 minutes to maybe get on stage and get yourself centered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I do think that's no matter whether that's a sport or a recital or how you're doing that. If you
Mhm.
don't have that, you're going to struggle at Psi Games. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And so just trying to help, because I am the competition dude. I have decades of trophies and championships that everybody
Right.
can look up to prove it. I can help people kind of channel that and bring it back down to even both my kids are champions. You know what I mean? And my wife's a
Mhm.
champion. Man,
Mm.
if anybody that's married knows that if you can get your spouse to do something because they're working with you, that you're doing something right, right? So,
Excellent.
um, so I just want to give people the motivation to try these things. Emma, you're going to do some with me, and
Oh
let's just jump
gosh.
into it, man. So, first thing is precognition.
Yes.
Emma, you're going to kill it at this, and we'll only do a handful here, but I want to show folks. Let me bring it back a little bit. So,
I
this
bought
I just
some I bought some colored blocks the other day and eye masks and my son Aiden and I have been playing with them and he is killing it.
dude, I'm
Absolutely
telling you,
crushing it.
because the
I'm
kids don't come with the precognition that they can't. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So they're just all
absolutely.
in from the moment. So Emma, let's just do it. I'm just gonna. This is a Plinko board. Once again, this is an unmodified Plinko board that you can get on Amazon. I think it's like $20, and then you've got $20 of precognition training in your home. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
what do you think, Emma? Red or blue?
Blue. Blue.
Blue. Blue. Blue. Emma, you're on
Yes.
it. All right. Let's do one more. I'm gonna say red.
Okay. I was gonna say red too.
Um,
Oh.
Precognition's off today. But I just want to show people, like, you know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
we also do cards. I don't want to, as I throw them out, I just want to show people we don't have to do this one, because like, this is one that takes a long time, but I have 3 decks of cards that I typically use on my podcast or like my shows or my
Mm-hmm.
posts. This is the card dealer. This you can get at a Walmart. As I drop it again, um, we do use these Zener cards. Once again, these can just be purchased off Amazon. They say
Mm-hmm.
special ESP. I think there's 52 cards that are normal and a handful that are double-sided and colored. So we definitely use those. Just a standard set of bicycle cards that you can even get at a gas station. We use
Yep.
those for like black, red, color call-outs,
Mm-hmm.
as well as like number calling out. Just to try to train me. So I like to show the haters that I can do what I can do and do it on command. And so there was a podcast I did where some folks were saying that my cards were modified. So I now have a Stranger Things deck that we use as well, just to show that the cards are not modified. And so I've even gotten to the point where I can like have another person call out, and I can call out, is it
Yep.
Joyce? Is it
Right.
the characters from the show? You know what I
And
mean? And so
I've got a set of cards here as well,
perfect,
which
perfect.
I mean that would be impossible for you to feel or smell or
Yeah,
or
exactly. You know what I
whatever.
mean? So
You are not your job. You are not your thoughts. You are not your body. So, who are you really? Most of us go through life answering that question with what we do. We build identities, our job, our status, our roles, and call it a self. But deep down, many of us feel and somehow know that's not the whole story. We sense the pull of something more. What if what's missing isn't something out there, but a part of you you've never met? Gateway Voyage is a self-guided journey into the deepest parts of who you are, using specific step-by-step guidance paired with neural entrainment audio tech developed over 5 decades. You'll explore deeper and deeper states of awareness beyond the body, beyond thought, beyond anything you've ever known. The part of you that senses there's got to be more to life is right. It's not theory, it's not belief, it's you discovering who you truly are. And now, this life-changing experience is available outside the retreat center, fully self-paced, fully immersive, and guided by the original voice of Robert Monroe himself.
Gateway in and of itself is properly defined as study a means of freedom, a new kind of freedom that perhaps you've never before experienced in your life. A chance at this new kind of freedom.
Gateway Voyage has helped tens of thousands around the world awaken to their deeper nature. It has been used by consciousness researchers, veterans, therapists, and people from all backgrounds, drawn by curiosity or a desire for deeper understanding. And now, it's available for you to explore, wherever you are, whenever you are ready, with remastered audio exercises drawn directly from Monroe's legendary residential program. This version of Gateway Voyage is the most advanced and accessible ever created. As one 91-year-old Buddhist teacher put it, Gateway participants can reach meditation states in 1 week that took me years of sitting. This isn't just another meditation course. It's the self-guided version of one of the most transformative consciousness programs ever created. When you begin to see life from outside the limitations of self, everything changes. The need to prove or perform quiets down. The fear of death dissolves. You begin to live from a place of clarity, connection, and trust. And most importantly, you realize, I'm here for a reason. That's not a belief. It's a knowing, one you can carry with you for the rest of your life. You're here to explore, but by doing that, you're contributing to the global awakening of consciousness. Welcome to Gateway Voyage.
So what I was thinking is, hey, I've done a bunch of stuff from my demonstrations from right here. And man, and I've only done a couple of, literally across the ocean here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if
You
you're
did
cool,
amazing when we did it last time, though. You killed it.
yeah. If you're cool with it, I'm gonna use the mindfold, and I just had these out, and I don't want to keep getting up and down. There they are. So I just want to show people one more thing too.
Yeah.
So for Mindsight, for me, when my windows first opened, my windows opened up in the back, and so through all this progression, you guys can watch on my YouTube, or not my YouTube, but my Instagram or any of the social medias. So I've learned that I'm Mindsight dyslexic. So if you have a square, just like a normal square, no matter how you turn it, if I'm looking at it in the back, I'm still just going to see a square or the right angles, right?
Right.
So, but a word like my, if it's upside down and maybe backwards, that doesn't even look like writing then, right?
Right.
I was, when I was first learning what I was seeing it looked like the Predator writing from the movie Predator. It just looked like gibberish, right? And it didn't look like
Mhm.
anything. So what I've learned post that is that, so when I have Mindsight windows, sometimes they open up in the back, but sometimes they're backwards. So shapes and
Right.
colors are easy, but reading behind me is not as easy, if that makes
Interesting.
sense.
Yep.
So what I
How
was going to
can
do is I'm going to put
you
on these.
can you explain
Go
what the
ahead.
Mindsight window is to people who may have not heard of it before?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me back up even a little bit on that. So let's just jump it right into Mindsight. So Mindsight, there's going to be two main ways, and they even show and demonstrate two main ways in the Psi Games. I'm going to bring it down just a bit. I'm going to still just try to make sure I have a place to show here. So what they did in the Psi Games are what's called intuitive Mindsight. So
Mhm.
for intuitive Mindsight, they use a little bit different of a method. And I won't do the demonstration, but I'll just kind of explain to you what it was. So they use intuitive Mindsight. And so what intuitive Mindsight is you would go into the mindfold.
Yeah.
You would then have a color placed into your hand, or you would have the ability to kind of touch and feel colors, right? And so
Mhm.
in the side games, what they did is they had like a pegboard that had a color on top, and then they had donuts that you would then put the correct color matching the donut on the
Mm.
peg, right? And
Right.
so Amazon doesn't sell that, and I'm a little bit of a want to just get it going. So I got this color
Uh,
box, which does the exact same thing. I know Amazon
mhm.
still sells this, but you would get the red in your hand, and you would have this box. And um, so intuitive mindsight is you're blindfolded, or you have the mindfold on. You have something blocking your vision where you can't see it, right? And
Yeah.
so you would then use the colors to feel intuitively what that might be. So whether it would come in as like a precognition, it for me it comes in that color overlay, right? So
Mhm.
when I physically look at this color, everything in my vision has this like extra pulse to it, is what I'll just
Right.
say. And so I've lived with it now long enough that like I actually have them right here. I actually wear sunglasses most of the time, just because honestly, it sounds really silly, but I'm pretty sure it's called the Happy Lens. The Spy brand specific has this thing
Right.
called a Happy Lens, and just the way it brings back the light into my eye brings that all down to like to where I can breathe again. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I'm not wearing my glasses right now because I want to make sure I catch everything. So
Right.
long story short, you're doing this intuitive mindsight, right? And so I'm on stage. I have the mindfold on, and literally, I'm doing exactly what I'm doing in front of you right now.
Mhm.
Except, instead of putting it into this pegboard, I would be
Yeah.
putting it onto these donuts, onto these.
Mhm.
I'm doing this box now, but we use the pegboard, right? And so, the best way I can describe is this. This would kind of be the best like step into mindsight first, instead of just trying to jump in to see it with your eyes. In my
Mhm.
opinion, you become a better rider if you know how to ride a BMX bike and you can do that really well. You're probably gonna start off pretty good on a dirt bike, right? And the
Right.
dirt bike's a lot more going on, but if you have that good basis, you're in a good spot, right? And
Mm.
so what I encourage people, especially with the size stuff, is getting a good base of precognition, black reds. If you know in your heart the more likelihood of an outcome, the rest of these psi abilities come so much easier. So getting yourself a good baseline of precognition, I think, just is the good baseline to help everything else. So right. So especially when
sorry. Yesterday, so I told you we got these colored blocks and some blindfolds, and again, he's just killing it every single time, and I was struggling a lot more with it, but there were times when I was splitting them up quite well, but they were opposite colors to what I thought they were. So say I had red and yellow and I was trying to separate them into piles of red and yellow, I'd be like, okay, all the reds are here and all the yellows are here, and I'm moving them, but when I take the blindfold off, it's switched around. So I'm like, what is there rhyme or reason to that? What's going on?
100%. So dude, it's so cool when you talk to other people that practice the psychic stuff, because otherwise people don't. It's like when moto dudes use like terms that only moto dudes are going to know.
Right.
So what I call it is a double bounce, right? I call it a double bounce because there are so many times where like I'm training with either Brandy or Cheryl that like I just call it a double bounce because like I'll say it's going to be an ace red, right? And so she pulls up a 2 of clubs, you know what I mean? But then the next card is the ace red. Do you know what I mean? Or like I'll do the colors, and I all the times, and once again, I could be Mindsight colorblind, like blue and green, like so, like I think, and I want to. Part of the new thing that I want to show you today is something that's from my heart, because I think it's what maybe separates me a little bit too, and just my creativity and difference of me and some of these other psychic folks. So blue and green on the color spectrum, I mean, that's close.
Yeah.
So once again, when my stuff hits, so much of this is like art and color and emotion, right? And so reds and yellows on the color spectrum, I mean, that's easier to tell, but like yellow and orange, you're getting into that blue-green zone again, right? And so I've demonstrated where like, because it does come in on this color scale for me, sometimes those close colors, I definitely got, the difference between like a red and a blue, especially if they're vibrant and bright, but like, and it's just that practice. It's just getting to know yourself to the point where I know that like, if I've got a blue or green in my hand, I might need to take an extra second to figure out what that color is before I decide what it is, because I know that that's a weakness, right? And so just repetition, people, repetition, going through it. I just want to show one more thing before we jump into the stuff across, because there's no way that people can dispute that I'm doing it. If you're in England and we've not talked about it, people. I just want to show one more thing. So the event that I won in the Psi Games was called Psychokinesis. They used a device called an Igloo wheel. And so an Igloo wheel is a relatively expensive device used to, test your vitality, test your ability to use either your psychokinesis, your energy, your Reiki. I mean, there's all these different versions, but using your body and your mind to make this wheel spin, right? And so
I got to play with one at Weird Wednesday was it last week or 2 weeks ago? It was so fun. I'm like, yes.
Dude, you get it. And so I encourage people to do it on an open Igloo wheel, like an open Igloo wheel. You get the most movement. And once again, I'm not going to demonstrate it because it's actually kind of lackluster on camera. But whenever I train with it, I use a mask. If I use it open, you're doing everything you can to reduce your ability to influence it. You're trying to really, because once again, guys, like I when I tell this stuff to people, this isn't just training to like help you. This is how I train for the Psi Games. Do you know what I mean? Like to some degree, I don't show everything, but like if it's an open Igloo wheel, guys, and you're wanting to think it's real, you got to have you got to have it be as controlled as you can. So actually for my practicing now, I actually don't really use the mask too much anymore, because I've gotten to the point with the Igloo wheel that I either do it under glass or under multiple panes, or like multiple, I'll be straight. They're Pyrex glass sheets, like cooking glass things, but they're
heavy duty glass.
Yeah. And so when you do it under glass, it's just, it's harder to dispute, right? That it's some sort of air and current. I've done ones where I've stacked the Igloo wheels and had multiple panes of glass and been able to make them both move. It's because you're really focusing in on those energies. And I can get into a lot of crazy stuff about the Igloo wheel and how I control it, right? But I just wanted people to know that like the Igloo wheel or like a Psi wheel, anybody can make a Psi wheel. Really, if you have an apple, a chapstick, anything you can stick a pin into and fold like tin foil on top or paper. There's multiple ways you can fold it that will kind of catch it differently. I mean, I guess my only thing to that.
Homemade one that I made.
Exactly. And see, and you're even
A
doing it right.
needle and a piece of paper. That's it.
Exactly. And I think the most important thing about yours that you did right 100% is it's under glass.
And
Because
it just
I do
pops
think
off too. Like,
it seals, right?
yeah. This was
Yeah.
just like it was like a dry pasta thing
Yeah.
from the grocery store. It
You
was
can
like
stick the
4
thing into
pounds.
yes. Dude, you
Turn
get
it
it though.
upside down.
But exactly that tool that you made for yourself is exactly what you can use to do the to it. I don't know that it's exactly the same as the Igloo wheel because the Igloo wheel has a few more details that if you
Right.
I will straight say it. I think an Igloo wheel is like a speedo. I'm a dirt bike motorcycle dude, right? So an Igloo wheel, the entire point of the Igloo wheel is so you know how fast it's going, right? So the same way that you could put like a little speedo on even like a bicycle where it catches a point of a rotating wheel and it has a sensor inside, right? That's basically all it is. So
Right.
I think there's a reason that certain people do the Igloo wheel like myself better. I think when you learn how to hold like a positive and a negative, or like, you know, you can go into these different versions of what that might sound like in terms of like chi and, you know, energy work, and there's all these different versions. But if you can create a positive and a negative version of your hands, you know, electronically, you can then create a magnetic current in your hands. And there's a lot of folks that are posting like being able to make things magnetic. And so an Igloo wheel's outside wheel, I'm pretty sure, has at least a strip of metal in it. And if you can get your hands to get those magnetized just right, you can get an Igloo wheel all day. You could live with an Igloo wheel under glass and like and just kind of knowing that too. I can do an Igloo wheel now from like across the room relatively easily, at least within about 4 feet. I don't even have to use my hands. I can just kind of sit like this and look at an Igloo wheel and kind of get it to go. Just, and it's not as controlled. Don't be wrong. Like if I do it close, I can go back and forth. I can have two going both directions. You know what I mean? But from a distance, it definitely loses its punch the further it gets away, right? But I can make it go one way real hard from about 4 feet on command. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I just encourage you know, folks, it's not like we're trying to tell you guys these things are unobtainable or it's not everybody. Anybody can go to Walmart and buy a pasta thing for under $5 probably and get a pin set for $1.50 and make a sidewalk. You know what I mean? And start working on it. You know what I mean? And let me put these guys on. So I'm going to show the patches just because I want to do as much as I can to dispute anybody.
Yes.
And I'm going to do it right here.
I'll show while you're doing that. This is just, it's a flowered set, but this is just a normal set of playing cards.
So
there's nothing funky about them.
What I want to do too is I want to show people like the differences in like a precognitive moment and like Mindsight, right? Because they are kind of different talents and they're all the same, right? They're all psychic abilities, but I use different parts of my brain for them, I guess would be the way to put it.
Right.
So give me just 1 second here. We're almost in. These things are just the worst. But there's like no other way to get people to think that you're doing it. Oh my gosh, I just had it. Hold on.
What were you looking for? Oh, yeah, there you go.
I think I got it. Okay. So it's right there. All right, I'm ready. Give me just 30 seconds to try to think here and get myself into the zone.
When you're ready, the first card is up.
It's a diamond. It's a diamond face card. That's all I got. I can get diamond face card.
Yep. Anything else, or are you gonna stop there?
Diamond face card queen.
Yes. Well done. All right.
Maybe let's just do a handful, because the thing that I'm going to do, I know is going to take just a little bit of moment, but I want to show people for real. Because, like, dude, once again, Emma is in England. Emma, I've never even met Emma in person.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Nope. Never see. I've just shuffled these cards right in front of you. There's nothing funky about them. Okay, next card is up.
Okay, I'm having kind of a hard time today.
Might be an energy thing, because I've been exhausted today.
I just need it to come through. I'm honestly having a hard time getting my windows to come in. Almost. Hold on. It was right there. I wish I was. So usually I get up and dance, and I'm kind of more animated, but I'm going to make it work. We're going to get through it.
I'd love you to explain this process that you're doing now afterwards too. It's really interesting.
So I get these colors on the bottom of my vision, right? And so I kind of explain them as like iridescent, or like, I just want the window to come through. I'm trying to stress it out, but it's not really I don't know if that's what's going to hit it. Come on. So I get these colors in the bottom of the mask, and they're like iridescent, and I get these like feelings from them, and I can kind of feel what's going on around me. Sometimes they're like masculine or feminine. And hold on. Come back. Where'd you go? So as I'm getting these colors, I get these light flashes. Come on, man, just come back. We need it. Come back. Oh, okay. So I get these light flashes, and I'm trying to figure out where they are, right? So sometimes they come up behind my head. Sometimes they come up underneath. Hold on. It's black. You have a black spade. You have a black spade, middle road. Black spade, middle road just came through real hard. I'm just going to let go of trying to do the Mindsight live. I'm just going to use the intuition. Black spade like 7 or 8.
Close.
Okay. Give me. Don't tell me if they're right or wrong. Just save them till the end. Just let me kind of roll through. Just keep them rolling. Black clubs, 5 or 6 or 7. It's got a hoop, so I'm going to say a 5 or a 6, 5.
Yes. Yep. Perfect. All right. Next one.
So straight up, people, I am trying to use a whole different skill set. I would call this intuitive precognition, is what I would claim this is, right? Because my Mindsight windows are not coming through at all right now. I would be lying to you and making up a story if I said I was visually seeing something. They are not coming in at all. They were there for a second, but then they just stopped. And I'm trying to do it. So this is definitely like educated precog. So those shapes and colors come through. So I'm going to say like a 2. A 2 is coming through. I got a hoop. So it's either a 2 or a 5. And it's black again. Black 2 clubs.
Black clubs is correct.
Is new one up?
You're good with the hoop. The hoop is right.
8. It's an 8. It's yes. 8 of clubs black.
Yeah.
8 of 8. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, here you go.
Man, everything is just black. These colors, everything's like working against me today. 2 hearts or spades. I'm getting that shape. 2 spades. It's black. It's a little bit more anger.
Yep. Perfect.
We're getting them?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna try to go back in and try to get the Mindsight to work because man,
Okay.
I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. Come on. All right, I got a window. I legit have a window. Where are you? So this is the things I can always act. I'm seeing my window. God darn it! Where is this? I'm seeing like my physical window to my left, and I'm not. This is going to be too much of a complicated process. Hold on.
It's okay. Take your time. We can also like cut out the like if you need a few minutes, we can cut
Yeah.
that down. So take your
No,
time.
just give me one more. I got a moment. I think we're back in.
Okay.
Hearts hard two. Hearts hard two. Red.
Yep.
Give me
Excellent.
rapid fire. I'm in a good zone.
All right. Go.
Hearts again. 5 red.
Yes.
Hearts 5 red.
Yep.
6 red. Hearts.
Yes.
Diamonds jack. I'm in the zone. Diamonds
Yep.
jack. Red.
Yep.
Blacks. Spade, black spade for sure. It's coming in as multiple numbers, but maybe an ace. It came in as a
Yes.
1, ace.
Yep. You're nailing it.
3
Excellent.
diamonds. 3
Yes.
diamonds.
Yep.
Hearts, love, double number, double digit. 10.
Yes.
It has to be 10.
Yep.
Is that good? Are we doing
Yep.
all right?
You're doing
All right.
amazing. You're killing it now. We'll do 5 more.
Okay. I want to get my window back open. I can do the precog pretty good. I want to get this window back. I want this window to show up over here. Come on. Where are you? All right, we'll just go back to this. Black king clubs.
Absolutely. So what's the different process that you're doing?
So
the mindset
intuitively,
when-
I'm trying to. I want to do one more thing, but I want to explain like exactly what my brain's trying to switch back and forth between. So, okay, so just pure honesty. I usually do Mindsight with my eyes open. It is just such a pain to do my eyes open with these eye patches. And my eyelashes get caught up in them. So I shut my eyes.
Yeah.
And I've been working on it because I want to be able to show this eye patch thing on command and I don't want to have to like keep fumbling around with them. So I've been trying to do Mindsight with my eyes shut. So am I doing real Mindsight? Maybe not. I'm doing like precognition Mindsight,
Right.
intuitive Mindsight to the max. Does that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's feeling what's on the screen. It's getting the colors. And so I know I did one more thing. I want to show one more thing real quick. I just have to figure out. I know I put it right here. So can you see this picture?
Yes.
By the way, you just put up another red. I just saw a red flash.
Yep.
Red hearts 8.
Yep. Well done. Excellent.
I see 2 cards. I see. Oh no! I don't. No, I don't. I don't see 2 cards. I see feminine, queen, red, heart.
Yep. Here, we'll do one more.
6 or 8 diamonds. Red for sure. 6. We're just gonna go with a heart. 6. It's an 8, isn't it?
Close.
Oh my God! It's
You got red diamonds right.
9.
Yep.
Oh. So I have this thing that I don't think anybody's done before if I don't knock over everything on my table to do it. And I've been working on this as like really just for myself. But I want to demonstrate.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're all good. I want to demonstrate some new stuff that I don't think people have done before. And is it going to be amazing? I don't know. This may not be amazing. This may be a whole lot less lackluster than I think it is. But I've seen people do the Mindsight stuff. They use the colors. I've seen people do all the demonstrations that I've done, but I don't think anybody's taken a moment to like really try to do something that means something to them. So stuff that means something to me is art and love and showing people real stuff. And so I can feel these colors. And so what I wanted to do is just kind of give everybody a moment of like, I'm going to do my best just to completely just not even move my head. I'm just going to stay in one place. And I want people to just know that like, is it mindsight? Is it precognition? Is it using the colors? It's feeling your surroundings, man. It's knowing my body. It's knowing that my body can feel when things are happening around it, right? And so I just want to do a couple little quick things to show people. And so I want to do one thing to hold on. Okay, first off, if that wasn't impressive, I don't know what is. But I'm going to do this picture really quick. And I want to show everybody there's no creases. There's no folds to show me where I'm drawing and where I'm not drawing. I do remote viewing very similar to this. So I thought this would be a very good way because I can like, when I draw, I can like feel where I'm putting the colors, right? And so when I draw and when I do like my remote viewing, I can just feel it, right? And so I just want people to know that like it's real. And like I'm not even looking at the thing. I am completely sealed in these eye patches. But art is important to me and expression. And I just want people to see a demonstration of like is everything this competition, and does it have to be all of this stressful kind of more anger, more aggressive, more adrenaline filled side? And I just want people to know that like that's only a small portion of anything that I'm about. You know what I mean? And I just want people to see that like you can do these side practice abilities, your mindsight. Let the colors flow, man. Just print out a couple pages, and if you mess out on the first one, you mess out on the first one. You know what I mean? You didn't get it, and
Right.
you know what I mean? But I'm just trying to do the quickest version ever to just show folks that like there's at least some degree of like knowing, right? You can just know. And I'm going to try to do it from this way so people don't think I'm like seeing out of one spot.
That's amazing.
And I don't, it's once again, man, it's not because I'm like pro Stranger Things or pro any of this. I just thought it would be a cool picture, but I just want people to know, man, you can get into flow state. Art is another amazing way to find flow state. You can get into flow state by doing anything. I mean, art, activities, sports. I don't know. This is probably not going to be my best because I don't exactly know what colors I'm grabbing. I think I'm in the color spectrum of where I'm trying to shoot for. But I forgot to do one.
You're in the lines.
One more important thing here. I want to make sure I do one more important thing. I think this is where we're at. This one feels precise.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm gonna is there anything else you wanted to show or put up or do anything else with Mindsight? But I mean, I wanted to show people like it's about creativity too, man. Everybody's gonna get their own way. Everyone's gonna have their own process, man. And I encourage people to use art as a cheap way of expressing yourself and connecting with your own psi abilities, man. I have no idea what this is going to look like, but I know in my heart I could picture it all. I could feel the paper. I knew where the colors were once I put them. You know what I mean? And I honestly am sealed in. My eyes are even shut today, which is, I think, where the Mindsight wasn't working quite as well. But if you're cool, I'm going to come out, and I want to make sure people see the come out.
Yep, absolutely.
So the mindfold is off. We're still in the patches. Everything's still sealed. I just want to show people that we peel them off, like they come off for real, peeled all the way around. There's I did all right. Oh, it wasn't as good as I thought.
No, you did great.
I did not realize I colored her kind of highlighted, but you know what I mean? But I just want people to know that, like, I do so much of this. Like, I've jumped a dirt bike blindfolded, and I shoot like my guns, and not my guns. I don't shoot guns, but I like my airsoft guns, and I've shot my Nerf blasters, and I've done all these demonstrations that are a little bit more high adrenaline. You know what I mean? And I just want people to know too, like, we don't when. This is all training for Psi Games 2026, guys. I want to show that I not only am I a competitive psychic, but I want to be a psychic that can show, like, put me on a TV show, put me on a podcast. I want to be able to prove to people that they can do it too, and just raise this collective consciousness to this stuff. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to show people too that, it doesn't always have to be adrenaline. It doesn't always have to be these great spectacles. Man, I'm actually going to keep this. I will probably do a further demonstration with myself to finish this up. But I mean, like, I had no idea. My Demogorgon's a little bit off. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're so in the lines.
But you know what I mean? But like, I just want to show people that, like, you can do it with a gentle touch. Mm-hmm. You can do it with love. And man, Emma, I want to give you at least one more second, because I think we're right at the moment. But dude, you got to tell me about your alien stuff. We never talked about your alien stuff.
I know there's too many to discuss quickly now, but I don't even know where to start. I've had abductions my whole life, UFOs just everywhere. One of the craziest UFOs that I saw was in it was in New York at I can't remember the name of the lake.
It's always around water, man. I feel like a lot of it's water.
It was, yeah, it was around water. Although my abductions were up in the mountains, nowhere near water. But the UFO, it was really late at night. I was laying out on a dock. We were camping, and this huge burst of light in the night sky just like flashed on the right side, and this completely like classic UFO, like a saucer with lights going around the outer edge, just like spinning, came out from the light, stopped hovering directly in front of me over the lake, just 20 seconds, and then like lightning into another explosion of light and was gone. And that was crazy.
I just, I think there's such a connection between, once again, many people are saying this now, but there's a connection between folks that are, and I could say I'm just connected with myself, or I'm connected with God. I could say I'm connected with spirit or earth. I just feel like people that are just more aware, take that extra moment to think about their surroundings and be self-aware, just become that much more connected. Right. And especially with the connections of like potentially non-human intelligence, or, the orbs or earth, man. I maybe conscious plasmoids are earth, you know what I mean? And earth spirits, and less of the space version and more of like an earth version. And I don't know. That's just, Justin's came out of space. Let's just be real. Justin's were by Cassiopeia. Mine like raise up like a whole bunch of like fireflies. We don't have fireflies in Colorado. Like we don't, but my family's all from Kansas, so they have fireflies all the time. And so like, if you've ever seen like fireflies over like a horizon where like they're just buzzing, there's no rhyme or reason, and they light up here and there, it's like fireflies, right? And so just the two different versions of just this one like 3 hour period, seeing all this stuff. And man, it's once you have that epiphany moment of seeing it, you can't go back to the other side of like, there's not something, right?
Yeah. Right.
Especially with abductions, man. I'm sure once again, that's a whole nother thing in its own podcast, but man, I can only imagine what you sit with and what that looks like from your experience. But also at the same time, it's like, I think it's important that, you're out there about it and that people hear it, because man, I would have never thought I would have touched the lives of people in the way that I have in just the last 6 months. And man, right out of the gate, the Kids That Wander just at the games was the first validation of like, man, when even if people disagree, even if there's going to be haters, there's going to be haters on this and every other video I've ever done. But once you have that moment of connection and love of when there's someone that's influenced in a super positive way because of something you did, man, the haters are whatever. You know what I mean? Yep. And so, man, because I've gotten a lot of hate on this side stuff, folks. Don't let them, because man, every one of us have had that epiphany moment between non-human intelligences and spirits and psychic, and I don't really know any psychic person that hasn't had some sort of other experience. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very hard to be like, I'm the only dude that's only good in Vegas because I can predict the future. Right. You know what I mean? Like all these other people that have these experiences tend to have more
lots of other things.
You know what I mean? So man, for all of us that do that, man, I just shout out to all of us. There's all of us out there. Anybody I'm sure that promotes themselves in this realm would be willing to at least give you a moment of ear, because man, it is a smaller community, and for the folks it's happened to, it's real. So
absolutely. I don't know if you saw my post yesterday. I'm trying to bring all the people who've seen UFOs out of the woodwork. Yes. I got so many comments on it. I was like, yes, like people need to talk about this stuff, because for too long it was, oh my God, you're crazy if you believe in aliens. But now like all this psychic stuff is coming up. And like you said, like people that have these psychic abilities are also having these other experiences. And I think there's something to that. And the more we can kind of just like connect those dots and figure out what's going on. I don't know what we're going to figure out or what we're going to find, but
hey man, I definitely feel like we're 2026, 2027, I feel like is going to be something big in terms of consciousness, whether it's AI or NHI or just some sort of big revolution in ourselves, which is what I hope. Right. You know what I mean? I can just feel something big is coming. So
yep, same. Yep.
We were on the money, dude. We did it this time.
We did. Yes. Well done. Thank you.
No problem. I appreciate you, Emma, and I'm just making a joke about it too, because man, I feel like our other one was just as good, but man, it was I rambled. I fully admit it. So
no, it's okay. It's all right. It was great. It was great, and this one was perfect because we got everything in that we need to get in and showed some amazing things. Oh, if you could give some advice to somebody, if you were to say you're training me right now to develop mindset, what would you tell me, or what would you tell other people that they could do to start practicing today?
Find a deck of cards, find some dice, find some simple tool that will help you kind of have an outcome that you can either start to predict or try to influence. As much as I'd like to say that I would like to think, there's a guy named Jordan Crowder who talks about probability, right? And probability outcomes and all these different quantum entanglements. And there's all these different versions of that and all these different authors. Man, sometimes as much as it's precognition, I'd like to think it's influencing what's on the bottom side of that card. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if the universe knows what's on the bottom of that card. So if I start saying it's going to be a king red, maybe it just puts that higher percentage out that it's a king red. Do you know what I mean? And man, that once again, my Vegas has shown that I don't know what's going to come on the other side of a random number generator, but I can feel them. You know what I mean? And so I guess what I'm just trying to get at is to a person trying to learn these psi abilities and learn themselves in the process is don't rush it. Don't put this expectation of time, because as much as this psi ability and this precognition comes, it comes when you're ready, because you're emotionally ready.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And into a spot where you don't have to worry about the judgment of other people, so you believe you can do it. Do you know what I mean? And to a person that comes with a ton of judgment that I'm going to be looked down upon if I do end up doing this, or or what if this was real? Then this changes all these different parts of my life. That person automatically is going to have a much harder time connecting just on a baseline, compared to the person that just kind of is I'm a human. I'm on this earth. We're all doing this human experience for the first time. I only know what I've been told, but I'm also eager to learn more and question what I've been told.
Right.
You know what I mean? And man, I love government. And don't get me wrong. I think we need society. I think we need, all these different things that help us function as a human being in 2026. But man, I think it also just feeds you propaganda in a one-way system, compared to how we had lived 100 years before that, even, and 200 years before that, and 1,000 years before that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And society still existed. You know what I mean? So I just want people to just open their minds and be open, man. That's the best advice I can give you.
Excellent.
And practice.
Yes. And when is the next Psi Games?
I believe it is.
Yet?
I believe they have. I believe it's going to be in Charlottesville, or that's where it was last year. I know it's going to be in North Carolina. And I believe it's the last week of July into August.
Okay. Amazing.
So end of July, early August. Yep. So
cool.
I know I'll be a participant, or at least be there in some way, shape, or form. I've already got my invite, but I'm just interested to see what the future is going to hold. And I don't know, man. We'll have to see if we can. My heart is telling me there's going to be a new game. I hope there's a new game, is what I'm going to say.
Nice. Excellent.
And it might be no handling, no touching, no joke. So if it happens, it happens on command. I mean, dude, your guys' weird technology stuff, if we even brought that light out and had people calling out colors, that's all mine. That's all resonance. That's all frequency. Bring that out as a game and be like green, and mine turns green. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard to dispute. I'm just saying. So absolutely. I'm excited for what the future is going to bring.
Yeah, me too. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Everything was incredible, and we'll definitely have you back on when you win 2026 Psi Games.
Absolutely.
That'd be amazing. Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Ryan. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
All right.